In response to the United Kingdom's Office of Communications £20,000 fine levied against 4chan, the lawyer for 4chan and Kiwi Farms has responded, and the response is amazing. Here it is in full. Sirs, thank you for the several dozen pages of, in America, legally void correspondence. It will make excellent bedding for my pet hamster. My client reserves all rights. End quote. That's the whole thing. That's the whole thing from Preston Byrne, lawyer for 4chan, and for Kiwi Farms, and I'm loving it. I am loving almost everything about the lawsuit that 4chan and Kiwi Farms have brought against the United Kingdoms. The communications has been glorious. It is just absolutely fantastic. In other news, this is very bizarre. 4chan itself appears to be censoring Lunduke Journal articles and videos and stories and suspending users who post them. This is a real thing that the moderators of 4chan are doing. I tell you what, there is just so much bizarreness that comes out of 4chan. I don't know what to make of it half the time. Let me run you through a little bit of this. So when was this? This was August 27th. I reported on the lawsuit from 4chan and Kiwi Farms. They teamed up to sue the United Kingdom's OfCom, the Office of Communications. And OfCom is, basically demanding that they control and can fine and censor servers in other countries, right? They're saying they're in the United Kingdom and they can control what people in America say on American servers, which is, of course, ludicrous. And the lawsuit that, what was his name again? Preston Byrne, their lawyer, drafted up is delicious. If you have not walked through it, I published a whole bunch of it so you can check it all out. It is fantastic. But the gist of the defense is simply that, last I checked, the United Kingdom is not part of the United States of America. Therefore, what you say doesn't matter and we can just ignore you. Pretty much the gist of it, right? So now finally, what was the date here? On September 26th, we received word that the UK's Office of Communication had in fact been served in that lawsuit. And it was a surprisingly hard thing to do. You'd think serving a government agency that's really got a lot of publicity and press going on about them, which should be a pretty easy thing. But because when you serve someone legally, you have to document how it's done. So the person who actually served them documented how he managed to do it. He went to the Office of Communications offices in the United Kingdom. He documented what their address was and how basically the employees at the Office of Communications stood behind a glass wall and just stared at him and refused to take the legal documents. And it was pretty hard to get them served, right? But that happened. That's been documented. And then on, what's the date here? On October 13th, so 2 days ago on Monday, the United Kingdom came out and levied a $20,000 fine against 4chan, stating that 4chan hadn't basically responded at all to the Office of Communications demands for documentation and the such. Which, of course, is ridiculous because the response that 4chan gave was a complete lawsuit and served them legally, which, of course, the Office of Communication knows. They're just playing a press game here. Now, so that £20,000 or $26,000 fine has been levied. It goes up by $100 per day. We're 2 days in now, so now it's $200 more. Is fully backed by the British government under Keir Starmer, right? So they have the full backing of the British government. And in 60 days from yesterday, so 59 days, if 4chan does not pay the fine and submit to whatever the United Kingdom's government's demands are, the United Kingdom then can block 4chan in the country, right? So no one in the UK would then have access to 4chan unless, of course, they're, going through a VPN or what have you. It's truly, truly, truly bizarre. But then the response from the lawyer to that issuance came yesterday from Preston Byrne, and it was glorious. And he also posted this tweet. I replied to OfCom's letter by email in view of OfCom not seeing sense after our last response, which advised them about the futility of this effort under U.S. law. This time around, I thanked OfCom for providing excellent bedding for my pet hamster. Utterly unserious agency, end quote. And I got to agree with Preston Byrne. I mean, he's absolutely correct. The United Kingdom has no jurisdiction. The UK Office of Communications has no jurisdiction in California. Right? I mean, yes, the UK can, and they're within their rights, whether we like it or not, they can block access inside their country, so they can make it so people in the UK can't access a website like 4chan or whoever anymore. But they can't really levy fines against 4chan. 4chan doesn't even operate in the UK. Like they don't have like a bunch of offices in the UK. They don't have businesses in the UK. They're a US-based website. Servers, last I checked, in the US with US-based people. So there's nothing really they can do. Now, what's really, the story keeps kind of evolving and getting weirder, and there's so many aspects to it. I'm going to keep following it. But then I noticed something, and by noticed, I mean tons of people started emailing and messaging me about this. Apparently, as people on 4chan started looking around the internet for coverage of this lawsuit and what's happening, the most prominent coverage comes from the Lunduke Journal, right? The Lunduke Journal is the one that's been covering this the most. So people started posting my videos, my articles, my X posts, all of it over to 4chan because this dramatically impacts 4chan. 4chan moderators began deleting the vast majority of any post that mentioned Lunduke or linked to Lunduke Journal articles, videos, or X posts. Here's a picture of one. 404 not found became the default little picture for anything related to the Lunduke Journal. And people started asking over and over again, why do Lunduke threads keep getting 404'd, meaning they got deleted over and over and over again? It's a reasonable question. So I posted this out there and I'm like, huh. And a little tongue-in-cheekly, I said, apparently Lunduke is too spicy for 4chan, right? Because I'm getting multiple reports that 4chan moderators are actively deleting posts linked to Lunduke Journal stories. And I think that's really curious and weird. And quite frankly, I don't know what to make of it. And the reason that I think it's extra curious is, what was the date on this? Back in April 15th of 2025, there was a 4chan hack. You guys remember with this, when one of the competing anonymous message boards hacked into 4chan servers because 4chan was running an almost decade-old, unpatched, unupdated, not at all secured version of FreeBSD. So they hacked into the 4chan servers and they started dumping tons and tons of data, including the lists of all the moderators, right? So we got all the details on all of the moderators. And then when you began to look into it, you started to realize that moderators of 4chan included students and staff from many universities, University of Washington, University of Michigan, Harvey Mudd College, professors. I mean, we're talking, there was at least one professor, university professor in there. And it started becoming very, very clear that the moderation team behind 4chan, and there was a ton of moderators, all volunteer, did skew very, very hard left politically. So, a lot of times I think people associate 4chan with being edgy and on the right, but the reality is 4chan is just kind of out there, right? There are people who want to be anonymous, and troll each other and troll other people. So it's anonymous trolls trolling anonymous trolls on an anonymous troll website. And then there are other anonymous trolls who moderate the whole thing. Well, the moderation of anonymous trolls tend to skew very hard to the left politically. And we now know that for sure because, well, we've seen many of them. Now, it's not entirely. There are plenty of very right-leaning folks and just chaotic anarchist kind of folks as well in there, but very, very hard left. And so when stuff from the Lunduke Journal starts getting very actively censored, it just starts to seem weird because 4chan, you think of 4chan as almost the Wild West, as 4chan posts crazy stuff constantly. They swear at each other, they call each other names, it's racist, it's sexist and bigoted, and they post untrue things all the time. I mean, it's 4chan. It's unmoderated, essentially wild West craziness. But if you post about Lunduke, you start getting censored. In fact, I started getting comments from many people talking about how that not only did they get censored, but they got banned and suspended from 4chan for posting about Lunduke Journal stories, linking to Lunduke Journal stories, linking to X posts, posting screenshots of articles, stories, and X posts, and the like, just constantly. And so several people started coming in. I just showed you a picture of one of them, but people started flooding me with pictures about how they were getting banned and suspended from 4chan because they talked about the Lunduke Journal stories, which is fascinating. Now, here's the thing. This is all coming from 4chan, which means that it's all incredibly hard to verify. Again, 4chan is all about being an anonymous troll. That's the whole point of the website existing, as far as I can tell, right? I'm not really a 4chan kind of guy. I don't really like 4chan. It's a little too sweary for me. You guys need to watch your potty mouths over there on 4chan. But just the same, that seems to be the whole point. So is it entirely possible that I'm getting flooded with screenshots of people who are trolling me anonymously? Yeah, absolutely. This is 4chan we're talking about. Verifying any of this stuff is darn near impossible. But what I can verify is several people have been emailing me links to and screenshots to 4chan posts. I've been able to verify some of them as having been real and been deleted, right? And they are things like, here's a story posted by the Lunduke Journal about moderators on this Discord server, or framework computer, or what's happening on NixOS, or things like that. And they are getting deleted, right? I also heard from one person who claimed to be a current moderator at 4chan. Again, can I confirm this? No. I mean, not unless 4chan gets hacked again. If 4chan gets hacked again and I get another flood of the personal email accounts of all of the moderators, then yeah, maybe I'll be able to verify it at that point. But currently, I can't really verify this. But I got a message from another 4chan claimed moderator who said that there's a whole lot of people that are very politically left at 4chan that very much don't like Lunduke, as well as many other people, and do actively ban and censor and delete things that link to Lunduke. I've also heard from many people at 4chan that of moderators and many users who simply said that in the technology forum of 4chan, because of the Lunduke Journal's coverage of so many different topics in technology, it was reaching a point where a large majority, very significant portion of all of the posts coming into 4chan were Lunduke Journal stories. All over the map, different stories about tech industry and open source and whatnot. But because they were the kind of stories that no one else covers, all the links went to Lunduke Journal. And so some people said, well, they were just trying to consolidate those into Lunduke Journal mega threads so that not every thread was just Lunduke Journal related. Maybe. But people are getting suspended for, at least it appears, people are getting suspended for posting stuff about the Lunduke Journal, which I think is weird considering the Wild West anything goes attitude of 4chan. Now, it should be pointed out that people are getting suspended and banned from 4chan and their messages and accounts deleted because they post to a Lunduke Journal article and thought it was interesting. However, people who call for attacks on me, people who scream profanity because Lunduke is Jewish, etc., which happens constantly, pretty much all day, every day at 4chan, they're allowed to stay. As far as I can tell, those are not being censored. As far as I can tell, I don't know what to make. Excuse me. I don't know what to make of any of that. It's very, very bizarre. Everything with 4chan is very, very bizarre. But I can say this without a doubt. The response of the 4chan attorney is not only spot on, but is awesome. The lawsuit is awesome. His responses to the letters from the UK are awesome. He's just hitting it out of the park. So at the very least, whatever else is happening, the 4chan attorney is doing good work in the name of, well, just goodness. So thank you to the Lunduke Journal subscribers for allowing me to do this sort of coverage. I'm sure this will get posted and then deleted and then cause people to get suspended over at 4chan just because I'm talking about it. But thank you to everyone who subscribed to the Lunduke Journal. Go to lunduke.com and click on all of Der Lincoln. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, nerds and nerdettes across the inner tubes, I do declare, end broadcast.